Somebody is shaking in their boots because the truth is louder than their lies. And guess what? The world sees it now. Spirit warriors. Have you ever been so deeply misunderstood, lied about, and misrepresented that it almost made you doubt yourself, but then, boom, the tables turn and everyone starts to see the truth? Let me tell you about Kira, a chosen one who walked through a storm that was designed to break her. She was quiet, kind, faithful, and because of that, they thought she was weak. One jealous co-worker, bitter and insecure, whispered venom into everyone's ears. She's fake. She thinks she's better than everyone. She's hiding something. And for a while, people believed it. Kira was left out of meetings, ridiculed behind closed doors, even overlooked for promotions she earned. It hurt. But instead of clapping back, she stayed graceful. She kept praying, kept shining, kept growing. Then the light did what light always does. It exposed the darkness. The very person who tried to destroy her got caught lying and manipulating. The mask slipped. And suddenly, Kira wasn't just cleared. She was celebrated, elevated, respected. And that liar, well, they started panicking. Chosen ones, when your name is written in divine ink, no human lie can smudge your reputation. The lies they told about you are crumbling like dry leaves in the wind. You are the opposite of what they said you are, and now they can't control the narrative anymore. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly why people lie on chosen ones, what happens when the truth comes to light, and how you are divinely protected, even when you're silent. We're talking spiritual laws, elevation, karmic reversal, and how your integrity becomes your weapon. Stick around, Spirit Warrior, because this video might just confirm what your spirit's been whispering. They messed with the wrong one. As St. Augustine once said, truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. Let it loose. It will defend itself. So lean in, chosen ones. This is not the time to fold. It's the time to recognize that someone is panicking, and it ain't you. Let's dive in. Point 1. They lied because your light irritated their demons. Your presence is more powerful than you realize. It's not just the way you walk, speak, or carry yourself. It's the peace you radiate, the glow that can't be dimmed, and the anointing that rests on you like divine armor. You don't have to say a word, Spirit Warrior, because your energy speaks volumes. When you walk into a room, your light automatically exposes the shadows others have been hiding in. It's not intentional, it's spiritual. The glow you carry is a result of deep healing, hard lessons, and a connection to something higher. And for those who haven't dared to confront their own darkness, your light becomes a mirror. This mirror reflects everything they've suppressed: insecurity, envy, fear, unhealed trauma, and emotional wounds they've refused to acknowledge. But instead of seeing you as inspiration, they see you as a threat. Not because you've harmed them, but because your presence silently challenges them to grow. And growth is uncomfortable. Growth means facing yourself. And let's be honest, lying is often easier than evolving. So they lie. About you, about your motives, even about your success. They twist stories, spread rumors, and attempt to tear down what they don't understand. Psychologically, this behavior stems from something called ego defense mechanisms. According to Sigmund Freud, when people are confronted with truths they're not ready to face, they default to behaviors like denial, projection, or displacement. That's what's happening here. Your light confronts their denial, so they project their shame onto you. It's not hate. It's spiritual discomfort manifesting as jealousy or criticism. But here's what makes you different, Spirit Warrior. You don't return fire with fire. You understand that their reaction is not about you. It's about the battle they're avoiding within themselves. Instead of getting bitter, you stay better. You elevate. You evolve because you know that God doesn't waste pain, and He certainly doesn't waste opposition. Even your enemies become instruments for your elevation. So walk tall, keep glowing. Don't dim your light for people who refuse to heal. Let them sit in their regret, their confusion, their whispers. Because while they lie to escape growth, you live to embrace it. And that's the difference. You're not just walking in light, you are the light. Point 2, God hid you in plain sight for a reason. They thought you were ordinary, just another face in the crowd, someone easy to overlook or push aside. They saw your silence as weakness, your humility as insignificance. But what they didn't realize is that God had you hidden in plain sight on divine stealth mode while they were busy sizing you up by superficial standards. Heaven was scripting a much deeper narrative. You weren't just biding your time, you were being refined, molded, and fortified in secret. Just like David in the field or Esther behind the palace walls, your preparation was private, but your purpose? Oh, it's public. And now the plot twist is underway. People often judge a story by its first chapter. They glance at your beginnings and think they know how your journey ends. But spiritual journeys don't follow human logic. They unfold according to divine timing. In literature, there's a term called the peripeteia, the sudden reversal of fortune or plot twist that redefines everything. You, dear soul, are the living embodiment of that twist. You were never the background character. You were the protagonist in disguise. And now that your light is breaking through the clouds, those who underestimated you are left wide-eyed, retracing their steps and rethinking every dismissive word and belittling laugh. This isn't about revenge, it's about revelation. When your truth finally starts to surface, it forces others to confront their misjudgments, their envy, and their fears. The very people who mocked your dreams now study your moves like scholars at a chalkboard, trying to figure out how you did it. But the truth? It wasn't just strategy. It was spiritual alignment. While they were playing chess, you were communing with the Creator. And now, they're pacing the floor at night, haunted not by your success, but by the realization that they completely misread someone marked by God. Still, don't gloat. Don't get bitter. Get better. There's a divine reason for all of it. Even your enemies were part of your elevation. God used their doubt to sharpen your faith, their criticism to fine-tune your character. As it says in Genesis 50:20, what they meant for evil, God meant for good. Let them sit with their regret while you walk boldly in your rising. You're not just proving them wrong, you're fulfilling your divine calling. The story they thought they knew, it's only just begun. Point 3, integrity speaks louder than gossip. In a world obsessed with instant responses and digital takedowns, choosing silence can be revolutionary. You didn't clap back, you didn't craft a carefully worded statement, and you certainly didn't waste your energy compiling screenshots to prove your innocence. Instead, you chose to live right, to walk in truth, to stay in alignment with your values, and to trust that the truth doesn't need a publicist. That kind of self-restraint isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's understanding that energy is a currency, and you don't invest it in battles that time can win for you. While others were tangled up in whispers and half-truths, you were building quietly, consistently, and with purpose. And something interesting started to happen. The people who once leaned into the gossip began to notice cracks in the narrative. The stories didn't add up. The character they tried to paint you has started to dissolve in the light of your actions. Why? Because truth, like light, always finds its way through. Integrity doesn't scream for attention, it simply stands, and eventually it shines. Psychologically speaking, humans are wired to detect authenticity. According to research in social cognition, people subconsciously pick up on patterns of behavior and begin to sense when someone's reputation doesn't match their reality. That's why the lie about you unraveled itself, not through confrontation, but through contrast. The contrast between who you really are and who they tried to say you were became so obvious it couldn't be denied. You didn't expose the lie exposed itself. And here's the poetic part. Integrity is like a seed. It's planted in the quiet moments when you choose not to retaliate. It's watered with patience, restraint, and faith in the bigger picture. Over time, that seed grows roots. Then it bears fruit. Undeniable, visible, nourishing fruit that even your doubters can't ignore. That's the harvest you're reaping now, and the beauty of it, it's not loud or flashy, it's peaceful, it's powerful, it's real. So while some people are sitting in the regret of underestimating you, misjudging you, or flat out lying about you, you're sitting in peace, in truth, in abundance. You didn't need to fight for your reputation, your character did that for you, and it won. Point 4, the universe is realigning in your favor. Karma isn't just a concept, it's a cosmic boomerang, and right now it's hitting hard. The very people who once rolled their eyes at your dreams, who whispered behind your back, who tried to shut doors in your face, they're now front row spectators to your glow up. They tried to dim your light, but instead you became a lighthouse. Now they're standing there, blinking in the brilliance of the blessings pouring into your life. And it's not by accident, it's divine choreography. The doors they thought they locked shut, God kicked them open like they were made of cardboard. Those tables, they didn't just turn, they spun like a tornado, rearranging every seat of power, visibility, and opportunity in your favor. What's wild is that you didn't have to seek revenge. You didn't have to clap back or play dirty. You just kept showing up, working on yourself, trusting the process, and leaning into your purpose. And that's the beauty of karma mixed with divine calling. It doesn't scream, it doesn't need an announcement, it just shows up in results. It whispers to your enemies through your elevation. You cannot curse what God has already called. That's not just poetic, it's scriptural. In Numbers 23:8 it says, "How can I curse whom God has not cursed?" That's a spiritual mic drop. The truth is, your blessing isn't just about you, it's also a message to the ones who tried to block it, not out of spite, but out of purpose. You see, sometimes God allows people to oppose you, not to break you, but to build you and to teach them. Your success becomes their lesson, their doubt becomes your stage, and your resilience becomes their reminder that favor doesn't come from man, it comes from the Most High. Now they're stuck in the very space where they once rooted for your downfall, watching the rise they said would never happen. They tried to write you off, and now you're the headline. So don't gloat, don't retaliate, just keep walking in grace and power. Let karma, character, and calling do the talking, because at the end of the day, their regret is loud, but your blessings are louder. Point 5, you were built for the fire they tried to burn you in. Let's be real, it did hurt. The betrayal wasn't just a simple disappointment, it felt like a knife in the back from someone you trusted. The isolation wasn't peaceful solitude, it was a chilling silence that made you question your worth. And the defamation, that wasn't just gossip, it was a calculated attempt to shatter your character, to poison your reputation in rooms you weren't even in. But despite all that, you didn't break. You bent, sure. You may have crumbled to your knees, lost sleep, doubted your path, and asked why it had to be you. But beneath all of that pain, something powerful was taking root. You were transforming. Pressure doesn't just crush, it creates diamonds and fire. Fire doesn't just burn, it refines gold. What they meant for harm, the universe or God or whatever you believe in, used to sharpen you, to polish your essence, to make sure when you did rise, you'd be undeniable. And now look, that very fire they tried to burn you with, that became your glow up, that glow that now has them squinting, choking on their own disbelief. They didn't expect you to come out wiser. They didn't think you'd move with more purpose, more clarity, more inner peace. But you did. Because pain, when harnessed properly, becomes purpose. And adversity, it's not your enemy, it's your personal trainer, building your spiritual, emotional, and mental muscles. Now they're looking foolish, scrambling to understand how the person they tried to break is now the person everyone can't stop watching. You walk differently now. There's a grace about you, a quiet strength, and a wisdom that can't be faked. That's favor, divine favor. Not luck, not coincidence, favor. And favor, unlike popularity, doesn't come from people. It comes from perseverance, from staying true to who you are, even when others tried to rewrite your story. So here you are, refined, radiant, and rising. They thought they could write your ending, but all they did was give you a stronger beginning. The ones who doubted you are now silent. The ones who mocked you now mimic you. And the ones who tried to dim your light, they're just now realizing you were the fire all along. Point 6, divine timing is exposing their true colors. There's something deeply powerful about divine timing, and even more powerful when it exposes the truth that was hidden in plain sight. See, God doesn't always silence your enemies when you want him to. He lets them talk. He lets them gossip, lie, manipulate, and scheme. Why? Because he knows their fruit will eventually reveal itself. And baby, now is that time. Their rotten fruit is finally visible to everyone. The charm they used to get by, it's worn off. The smile that used to convince others now looks forced. People are beginning to connect the dots, not just about how they treated you, but about how they treat everyone. A pattern is forming, and it's ugly. It's like watching a magic trick get exposed. What used to dazzle now looks cheap. The same people who once had the room wrapped around their finger are scrambling to explain the inconsistencies, and the truth, it's no longer something you have to shout. It's speaking for itself. This is what happens when masks start to melt. The performance ends and the audience sees the real face behind the act. Studies in psychology show that manipulative behavior, narcissism, and gaslighting patterns don't just affect one person. They repeat over and over until they're caught. And right now they're caught. Here's the beauty of it all. While they're running around doing PR with the same people they once manipulated, you're sipping grace. That's right. You're not bitter, you're better. You've evolved. You let your silence speak, and God turned it into thunder. You didn't have to lift a finger to expose them. God just let time do what truth always does, rise to the surface. And now the same folks who once questioned your worth are starting to side-eye the ones who tried to bring you down. Let them panic, let them post, let them explain. You, stay gracious, stay calm. This isn't your battle anymore, it's God's testimony in motion. You are the living proof that divine justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers through peace. So walk with your head high. The tables haven't just turned, they've flipped, and your cup is running over, not with revenge, but with undeniable God-given favor. Point 7, the crown is on your head now, walk like it. Chosen one, this is your divine confirmation. Chosen one, take a deep breath. This is your confirmation. You are not who they said you were. You've been mislabeled, misjudged, and misunderstood, but none of it holds weight in the eyes of the one who truly knows you. You are chosen, called, covered, and crowned. That's not just poetic language, it's spiritual truth. To be chosen means you've been set apart for a divine purpose, handpicked by a higher authority for something greater than the world can comprehend. That's why the opposition came so hard. They saw glimpses of your light before you did, but here's the catch. They were wrong about you, and now the truth is unfolding for all to see. You don't need to clap back or waste energy proving yourself to people who were committed to misunderstanding you. Energy is sacred, and yours is meant to be invested in purpose, not pettiness. The truth has already cleared the path. What they whispered in dark corners, what they twisted and tainted, it's crumbling under the weight of your authenticity. Now is the time to step forward, not timidly, not apologetically, but boldly. Own your authority. You've been through the fire and came out refined, not ruined. You were never the villain in their story, they just couldn't handle your growth. So smile. Not because it's easy, but because you've endured. Hold your head high, not out of pride, but because humility doesn't mean shrinking. Let those who lied sit with the heaviness of their own words, the regret of their misjudgments. You don't have to retaliate. Divine justice handles what your heart shouldn't carry. The crown was always yours. Now walk like it, talk like it, rise like it. Because the truth, chosen one, is your armor, and it shines brighter than any lie ever could. Spirit warrior, the panic they're feeling now is the weight of their own deceit catching up with them. You stayed true, you stayed humble, you stayed righteous, and that truth, it has elevated you beyond their reach. Your job now is simple: shine. Shine so bright that it blinds the ones who tried to bury you. Shine until others remember how powerful the truth really is, and most of all, stay on your spiritual path. Keep rising, keep praying, keep showing up with love and light, because when God vindicates a chosen one, he does it loudly. Stay awake, stay protected, and stay walking in purpose. Like, comment, and subscribe if this word was for you. And drop a "they panicking" in the comments if you know exactly who this message exposed today. Until next time, spirit warriors, stay armored up. Peace, power, and purpose.